Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Carissa.
And I'm Christian, and this is A Lot in Common.
All right, so today we have a very special guest.
Yep.
His name is Mason Lemme. He's a former TPUSA employee who is relentlessly speaking out against the Charlie Kirk narrative that they're trying to push and is searching for the truth and sharing it at every moment he can. And so we're really excited today to welcome in Mr. Mason.
I wanted to talk about your time at TPUSA. What made you start working at TPUSA?
Yeah, so I do want to say, I feel like anytime someone tries to, come at me on social media, they're like, oh, you were a plant by Candace, or, you were this. I was like, guys, I literally was just working at the chapter on my campus. I wasn't, at headquarters or anything.
Right.
But, so I started following Charlie about 8 years ago-ish, and it's crazy looking at it all hindsight, because back when I was in whatever year of high school that was, 2018, I was getting into it with literally NFL players in comment sections about what was it? Systemic racism in America and stuff. One of my favorite NFL players of all time, because I'm a Chicago Bears fan, he actually blocked me, and there was a whole, because I like a Chicago Bears fan page back then, and I had hundreds of people spam his comments going free, my username or whatever. And
Wow.
it was funny, and it was all because of I tagged him in a clip of Charlie talking about systemic racism, and he got pissed about it. So
Oh, man.
yeah, so that's kind of how it started. I followed him super close for 8 years, and I got super outspoken in 2020 when the election with it was my first year of college. So I was really, and obviously it was not normal college, so we were trying to
Right.
figure it out. But I remember watching the election in my dorm that year, and I tell people all the time, I could not have a 5-minute conversation about politics back then. I could not have done it. But Charlie was the guy that got me into being bold about your opinions and what you think is the truth, and he paired that with his faith in Jesus. So that's kind of what drew me to him. And he talked about sports and stuff. He was just a normal dude that you could just chop it up with. He wasn't some politician or some lame one-dimensional guy. He talked about freaking Star Wars to people in at college campuses. He talked about anything. But yeah, so 2020 really opened my eyes. I told myself, I was I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to do my own research. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to search for the truth. I don't care where it comes from. And obviously we saw the lies with code. We don't have to get into all that. But
Yeah.
with Turning Point is I really felt like his stuff spoke to me. And especially after his assassination, almost immediately I was like, dude, I need to do something. I need to make a change. So I started tabling with my chapter here, and it was really gnarly, because I think a lot of conservatives, especially around college age, my age, they're not built for the type of stuff that was thrown our way. We were getting death threats almost every day. We were out online and in person. We were having people flip us off, spit on us, get in our faces. I remember, when was this? This was on my birthday, actually. I don't even drink. I was literally just out with my friends. I didn't drink or anything. We were just chilling at one of these bars, and it was on my birthday, and my friend was sitting next to me, and this one chick who was drunk was with her boyfriend. She was walking by, and she saw me, and she was like, this is a month after I started my Lemmereact page. I did not have this page until Charlie got assassinated. I was actually posting on my personal page about all the stuff, and I was like, okay, maybe I should make a different page so people that I personally don't get fed up with me. So this is a month after, and this chick comes up to me, and she's like, I've seen your videos, and I just want to let you know that Charlie would never support what you're doing right now. And I was like,
He
and
would.
she walked away, and her boyfriend was like, I was like, all right. But
Man.
yeah, just to wrap up that whole thought process is, I've always been bold about what I believe in, but when it came to politics and just defending the truth, I was just like, I don't care anymore. I'm going to say what I want to say. I don't care who I'm calling out. I don't care anymore, because it's gotten so gnarly to where they're killing us, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taking our voices away and silencing us. So it's so important that we do this courageously, and you're doing such a good job. And I can say, Charlie, I'm pretty sure he'd be really proud of what you're doing and the revival that was started after his assassination.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
No,
I
100%.
think you're doing the right thing for sure.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
And the path with truth is always the harder path, especially now. They're trying so hard to make us all stop and to be quiet and to censor. I feel like they're censoring more than the times for sure because it's different. You can't talk about, you cannot talk about Charlie, you can't talk about Erica, you can't talk about anything now without people freaking out and like a huge mob coming after you. So no, I agree 100%. With your time at TPUSA, the people you were working with, what was the consensus like for how you guys felt towards Erica at that time, or how you felt towards Andrew Colvette even, or Blake Neff, even if you didn't work around those people? What were people thinking about all of that?
Yeah, so we would sometimes at our table events it would just be like our chapter members, but a good amount of times it would be people that were sent from either headquarters or were just like regional people that oversaw stuff. They would come and even just help us with the tabling stuff. And then we also have like speakers and stuff. Like we had Chloe Cole at Texas State University. We had a good amount of people. We actually had some people scheduled that fell through. Like I was trying to push them to actually do more stuff, and that never happened. But just hindsight, like we're talking about September, October, November, December, I was all for Erica. If you go back on my Instagram, my TikTok, I literally, I don't even remember if this is real, but I made a clip of like when Erica was saying, when her daughter was asking about Charlie, she's like, oh, he's with Jesus right now. And I made a TikTok about it and went like viral. And I was like, I was for her. So all these people that are like, oh, you've been with Candace since the beginning, or you hate Erica, you hated Charlie. I'm like, guys, look back 7 months ago. I was posting TikToks and videos. If you go back to because I went to the funeral in Glendale. If you go back to that video, it's like a 20-minute video of me talking about my experience. I literally said how much Erica's speech moved me when she said, I forgive him. Like in that moment when I was there, I'm not going to backtrack and lie about that. When she said that, a lot of people are like, oh, I felt weird about that. I didn't. I was like, damn, she's such like a great, strong woman of faith. Like she had the strength to do that. That was my thought there in that arena. And my chapter fellow people, even our president, vice president, all these people, they felt the same. I feel like we were immediately thrust into pushing on Charlie's mission. We were immediately thrust into being so knowledgeable about every speaking point he talked about. And this actually got on Fox News. We had our Charlie Kirk Memorial event on September 15th on campus, and one kid got expelled because he was mocking the assassination up on one of the statues on campus, like pretending to get shot in the neck, and he got expelled. I talked to the president of Texas State University multiple times about that and other things. And there's I can get into that, how stuff wasn't taken care of and whatever. But yeah, even that day, because it was 5 days after, people are talking to me like, oh, what do you think about Charlie said about the black pilot thing? And to me, I was like, I vaguely even remember that. So I'm trying to talk to people about stuff, and it blew up. We had like 250 people just attack us. I live streamed the whole thing on my YouTube to the best of my ability. And the people that were recording for me, I didn't even know them. They were random people there that day. I was like, bro, can you just record this for me? So it was really cool seeing that come together and meeting people that I still talk to today, but some people don't talk to today because they see my views on Turning Point now and they unfollowed me, they blocked me. There's a whole thing about people even in my chapter that I haven't even spoken out about, but yeah, we all felt great about Erica and Turning Point, but I'll keep this brief so you guys can talk. But my breaking point was after AmFest, or my turning point, if you want to say, because I think Candace dropped the video of Erica that was 6 days after the internal call, and then the audio for the day after the funeral. That was in January, if I'm not mistaken. And that changed a lot for me, because that wasn't even just like a nail in the coffin, like, oh, I hate her now. It was like, it was the beginning of me starting to question, okay, that's not normal at all. What is going on here? And then you start looking into more things.
Yeah.
Yep. It was kind of like that for us too, when we saw her give that speech and she said she forgave, we're like, wow, that's super admirable. I couldn't do that, but that is powerful. We felt the same.
Yeah.
And then slowly everything just started coming out like, wait, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's not right. That's wait, then proof, and then just totally go the other way. So we totally can agree with you on that one.
Yeah, and I think that they kind of messed up with the whole thing because honestly, I don't think it would have started so quickly, people looking into the whole thing, if they didn't have so many different things happen on that same day. Like the decoy boy, George, that old man, right? And then they found the shooter, then they didn't, and then the 33-hour thing. I mean, we've known about Masonry and all the Illuminati, all this weird stuff for a long time. So I'm like, 33 hours? What do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, it was all just really weird, and there was just so many things building up to it. And so it was like we were already very inclined to start looking into everything that people were saying, right? That was going against the official narrative. And then Erica just started acting more and more weird, and more stuff started coming out, and it was definitely suspicious. And I think that we're all kind of getting vindicated on that a little bit. It's definitely important to keep talking about. It's 11 months later, and we're all still talking about it, as we should be. And I don't see us stopping.
Yeah. This is a generational thing that what we do in this moment as a group of people, you know, is going to change the course of history, how they do things from this point forward. Like if Charlie Kirk isn't safe speaking his opinion, then none of us will be.
Yeah.
You know, I think Candace Owens brought that up, and it's like, that is so true. You know, we have to keep, you know, we're kind of protecting ourselves and protecting our children and protecting our futures by continuing to talk about it while they push the lies out, you know?
Yeah. And also, have you noticed that their psyops just aren't, they'll put out a psyop and then it falls right away? Have you noticed this?
Like everything new?
Like in general, what specifically are you thinking of?
Like any psyops.
Like the hantavirus.
Yeah, they put that out and literally like a couple days later, it's gone.
Yeah.
The Iran war, like everything that they're putting out right now, I feel like to distract us from either Charlie or the files, everything's a distraction.
I will say this is what honestly, like how girls say, like, gives you the ick. Like when either Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, even Mikey, any of these people, when they come out and try to talk about other political issues that don't have to do with Charlie, I'm like, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah.
Like when I say we don't care, we don't care at all.
Not
I'm
even
talking
a
about
tiny
like
bit.
immigration, inner city crime, freaking the economy. Like Andrew Colvett's like tweeting about the economy. I literally just look. This is my opinion. I'm not saying it's truth. This is my opinion. Sometimes I'll just comment on a thing. I'll be like, we don't care what you have to say. We know you had foreknowledge about 9/10. That's all I'll say. Like I don't acknowledge what he's talking about because we don't care. We don't care until we figure out what happened, if we're ever going to figure out what happened.
Well, I think that you've said a lot. That even if nothing does happen, we will all know the truth. And I think we're getting closer to that truth every day. And so at least we'll all know the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Like all of us, you know, that have been researching independently and like watching Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, you know, the leaders of this, Baron Coleman. In my opinion, I believe that it was the exploding mic and that the glass in the SUV, that was from that. And then that's kind of like case closed in my mind personally. And like everything else that comes in is just going to add to that narrative personally for me.
Yeah.
And so anything that comes out with this show trial, I'm not going to let it personally affect me too much because that's out of our control.
Yeah.
What they want to do, they're putting on a show. Let them put on the show for themselves. You know, we as truth seekers and truth finders will know it in our hearts and we'll know what's true. And so we just kind of have to go that direction and let them do the show.
Yeah, I was actually on it's funny because I've never done I still call it Twitter. I don't really call it X, but I've never done the Spaces thing. I don't know if you guys go on those a lot.
Yeah.
But the first one that I went on ever, this was the other day, Blake Neff was on it. And I was like,
you were on that?
I was on that. And then
gosh.
they made me a speaker after he left. And I was on there for like 3-4 more hours and we were all talking about it. But I posted clips about it, and it's like, it's so trippy because that dude just digs himself in a hole so badly. Like he was just getting flamed the whole time. He was in there for like 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. Like he wasn't like, guys, I only have 30 minutes. I got to do this thing. No, he was in there. He was creeping around all the spaces and stuff. But one thing that I just want to highlight from that is I posted this on my Twitter, but someone said they were asking about his whereabouts, like on the day going to UVU. And he was like, I don't know where I was. I don't know where I went after the plane. And someone was like, what do you mean you don't know where you were? Like, how do you not remember where you were? and some other Diligent. I don't know if you guys know Diligent on
Yeah.
Twitter. He's cool, but he was like, surely you've been asked these questions by the authorities. And he goes, Blake goes, why would I be asked this by the authorities? And Diligent goes, because you were a key witness to a murder.
Yeah.
Oh
and
my gosh.
And Blake goes, no, I wasn't. And
Oh
everyone's just
my
like,
gosh.
Ugh.
and he doubles down and goes, I was not a particularly important witness to the murder. And we're all sitting there like, is this real life right now? Like,
No.
I think Diligent was like, you do realize this makes you look really bad right now by not answering where you were and then saying that. So it's stuff like that that trips me out, because I remember where I was, exactly what I was doing on that day. I was in class.
Right.
I remember who was in there. I remember who I was talking to. I remember the phone call word for word I had with my dad right after. I remember what I posted right after. I remember the notification I got when it happened. It's from Truth Social. It said Charlie Kirk shot at college campus speaking event. So you're on his team. You were feet away from the tent, and you can't even remember key points of who you rode with in the car that day, who you talked to after, what you did that night, when you left, all this stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, the car that I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the car that the SUV that he showed up in was the one they took Charlie off in.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm going to pull this up because people are trying to say that that's not true. And I'm like, I'm pretty positive that that's the car that Charlie left in. And
Yeah.
It was parked in the same spot.
the exact same spot. And do you see how he slammed the door?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I
I'm
watched
gonna
that.
pull
I didn't
this
pay
up.
attention to that.
Blake Neff shows up and then he slams the door with such a weird little attitude.
Okay.
It's so interesting. And it's funny because this video is actually old, but everybody looked past it because it's Hunter Kovac practicing his reaction, which was really crazy. But do you see him do that?
Yeah, he's like fed up.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
You see that?
Yeah.
He's like irritated.
Okay.
There's the door, like a little snake, dude.
That's
little
weird.
rat.
You know what's actually crazy? Look, I'm very knowledgeable about politics and stuff, but I feel like when it comes to like the history of people in the world of politics, I'm like figuring out stuff. I had no idea he was working for Tucker and like, or with Tucker, connected with Tucker. I had no idea until I saw a clip of him getting fired, and I was like, bro, what the heck? That's because he was tweeting racist stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
No idea. Had no
Yeah,
idea.
he was like saying racist stuff and misogynistic, and he was like like a really terrible guy. Like a lot of really bad things he was doing.
He was like stalking this poor girl on an entire forum.
Allegedly.
Really creepy.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I think it's like proven.
It's proven.
He's a keyboard warrior for sure. It's like, it's also like we can get into like our greatest ally and stuff, like all this other stuff, right? But they just push trash on the Charlie Kirk show. They just push trash, and I like I said, I gave them a chance. I think we all gave them a chance. We all gave Erica a chance. No one off the jump, even Candace off the jump was not like, oh, Erica's suspicious. No, she said she went and met with Erica, talked to her for 4 hours or whatever, said, I wanted to give her a chance to dispel any conspiracies or whatever. Like, let's have it. And then she said she lied to her face. So it's stuff like that that is like, it's just, if I had to encapsulate Erica, Andrew, Blake, the Charlie Kirk show, all of it in one word, it's disingenuous.
Yes.
And deceitful. It's not like straight up like, oh, evil, like so obvious. It's like they're smart about a lot of things. They manipulate what they post. They manipulate scripture, which is the thing that pisses me off the most. That's what makes me mad, because even I'm going to find this real quick. I have it right here, because Andrew Colvett was just like, oh, I actually have it pulled up already. So he was responding to Candace or whatever, and I don't know if he was like joking, because obviously he knows this isn't true, but he said, and that Jesus didn't really rise from the dead, that was just a body double, and Mary was actually a homicidal psychopath who engaged in a grand conspiracy to have her own family member killed. It's like, so that tweet alone has 1 million views and 2,000 likes. So I requoted it, and I said,
Here, I can pull it up on my end for you.
Yeah, so I said, Andrew Colvett is not a Christian. This dude has absolutely lost it. In the name of Jesus Christ, I reject this deceitful and disgusting human being. Yeah, it's just, it makes me sick, honestly, because he obviously isn't being serious. And yeah, so I said, I was just thinking about, because they were like calling her out while she was on vacation or whatever, trying to flame her while she couldn't even respond really. And I said, you know, it's embarrassing. I think Andrew and Blake actually think they're on the same level as Candace Owens. They think they're smarter. They think they're more entertaining, and they think the youth sides with them more. Hey guys, coming from a college student who followed Charlie for 8+ years, I never heard of you dorks until after September 10th. The only time I even noticed you was election night in 2024 on Charlie's live stream. That's it. Also, if you asked me on September 9th, hey Mason, for $10 million, can you tell me the name of Charlie Kirk's wife? I wouldn't have been able to do it. You're all grifting off his name, and it makes me sick. Candace was actually his friend. And then if you scroll down, they responded. And I don't know if you want me to read it, but yeah,
Yeah, definitely read it.
Yeah, so Andrew said, I never claimed to be on her level. She's willing to do and say evil things and accuse innocent people of evil. Also, take it from someone who worked with Charlie for as long as you followed him. I definitely never heard of you, not until you started grifting and clout chasing off of his murder and attacking his widow. If you really followed him, you would never do those things. And then if you go back real quick, you see Blake chime in. He goes, if you don't know the name of Charlie's wife, someone he talked about all the time, had on the show and featured at Turning Point events, maybe you should reconsider whether you had deep knowledge about Charlie and his world prior to his death. And then I responded to each of them. I will respond. I'll read what I said to Blake, because Andrew's kind of the same, but Blake he's a dork. If you click show more real quick. So I said, I think the majority of planet Earth can agree with me that nobody knew who she was before September 10th, dude. Turning Point USA has lost the youth, the very thing that Charlie fought for. Erica clearly had foreknowledge of 9/10. You're an defending cuck that continues to use a dead man's name to promote an agenda that pushes lies. Charlie literally abandoned the cause and was bullied and harassed by Jewish donors, yet you guys refuse to speak about it at all. And when it comes to Candace, we know you hated her when Charlie was still alive. You're not a real man. You're a keyboard warrior, low testosterone loser pushing lies, and the world knows it. And if you just want to click the top left video real quick, because that was when Charlie was still alive. Yep, that was when Charlie was still alive.
Candace is... she's on our team. She's the best, right? I mean, we're on Team Candace. I got a text message from some lunatic. Charlie, why do you have her still speaking at AmFest? I said, lose my number. Lose my number. Wow. I said, you obviously haven't been through the Charlie, Tyler remembers, the Charlie Candace thing.
Also, I want to play another video of Charlie going in with Blake Neff, part of it, because his jealousy that comes through whenever he talks about Candace specifically is very weird. It's think very so creepy.
Too, yeah.
Because I do believe that they are all gay men. That's my opinion.
It's very... Oh, is that it?
Okay. Yeah, here, let me play this real quick.
You accusing her to be a thief? Hold on. She ain't taking money from you, Ben. She's earning money, okay? What, you accusing her to be a thief? I gotta be honest, what are you doing here, man? Candace, if you feel like taking money, whoa, taking money? Does she not provide a podcast that you monetize? Yeah. You employ her to drive value for your company. Subscriptions. Are you exactly? By the way, how many times have I been pushed a Daily Wire Plus ad with Candace's face? Candace, if you feel that taking money, I don't. Jack, am I nitpicking here, or is
think it's nitpicking a little bit?
Jack, am I nitpicking?
Well, Candace, if you feel that taking money from,
and then he does the Ben Shapiro clip there.
He's such a loser, and
he's such a loser.
Jeez,
that's the weird thing too, is they always go, Charlie talks behind the scenes about you all the time, talking about how you made him so anxious and stressed and all this stuff. And I'm sitting there like, first of all, no proof of that. Candace actually has text receipts of all you clowns. Right. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, so when you have a job, are you usually closer with your coworkers or your friends outside of your usual setting? It's usually your friends with the people outside of your usual setting. Just because you're co-working with somebody, even if it's every single day, doesn't mean they're your best friends. So it's one thing if they were pushing on Charlie's mission and actually talking about what he talked about, but it's the fact that they relentlessly defended. It's the fact that they backtracked his stance on the war in Iran, even stuff like Thomas Massey. Like they literally went reverse on so many things. And I don't know if the whole thing about them deleting some of his podcasts was true. I never looked at that for myself, but I feel like if that came out, then that had to have some merit to it, because why would somebody make that up? That makes no sense. But
I think that was true.
No,
I think
that was.
they
Was
did.
it?
They deleted a lot of his old podcasts.
Yeah, they said they archived it, but it's like, why? And also, wouldn't this be the time if they were honest to let all of his stuff be out there even more, like post more of his stuff? All of
Yeah.
that has to do with him because Charlie's message was so important, especially for the youth. I mean, it was especially for young men. I feel like it was so important.
100%.
He was legendary, and it is just so sad that he was taken away, and it's so sad that his entire movement was hijacked by the people that were supposedly closest to him. I remember what really did it for me also with Erica was whenever she went on Barry Weiss, and she acted really weird. She talked about pro, and we all already started knowing about how he was going against it. And so that was really weird in your face, like, what's going on here, the Shabbat Shalom thing. And then they had Hunter Kozak, the kid that asked the last question, asked her a question, and he was like disrespectful. And I was just like, this is so weird. Like, what's going on here? And it was on Barry Weiss, I believe CNN. Like, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
It's just so sick.
Everything they've done has been opposite of what Charlie stood for and believed. Like immediately too. Like they had Ben Shapiro on stage right away. They had like all the things Nicki Minaj on stage, and he literally is quoted saying that she's not a good influence for the young generation of women. And so they did everything, and it was right in front of our face, and that's what they've always done with all the psyops. But for some reason, with Charlie's death, it caused such a revival in people. It woke up our faith. It woke up the faith around the world. And so, I mean, a lot of good has come from it for our society.
Yeah.
I feel like it is crazy because I think Candace said it on the Sean Ryan interview. She was saying, I mean, it's so gnarly looking back at it. She was sharing the text messages from 2018 that Charlie sent her, where he was talking about he knows he's going to die young. And he was like, I wish it wasn't true, but I'm just telling you what I know to be the truth. And he's like, I don't think I'm going to see this whole thing through. And that's when he was like, be my David. And it's so crazy to me how all the people that were mocking Candace for saying like she had a dream or whatever, are you going to mock Charlie for saying he had dreams? Like, you have to have an even playing field. You can't just be one dimensional with that. So hearing that though, and then she was saying on Sean Ryan, she was talking about it specifically, and she was like, yeah, Charlie said like in the event of that, he's going to change the world. And he's going to open a lot of people's eyes to this stuff. And I'll just be honest with you guys right now. I'm never one to be like, oh yeah, I've always thought that. Like I'm in this club. Like I've always been that way. No, my thought process has changed a lot with Trump. If you asked me 365 days ago, 1 year ago today about it, I wouldn't be able to say much. I'd be like, yeah, like whatever. Like we give them money sometimes or whatever. Like not a lot. I had no really conspiracy thoughts in my mind. And I know a lot of people have for a good amount of years, but it really opened my eyes to even like 9/11, even JFK, all this stuff. 5 months before JFK got assassinated, he was like, we don't want to have nuclear weapons. 5 months after he said that, he was dead. And then 9/11, obviously the dancing thing. And then they got taken in by the FBI, CIA or whatever. They were questioned, then deported back to Israel. It's like,
of course.
Okay, what were they questioned about? What did they confess? What was the evidence? We know nothing about that. So it is very trippy, but I don't even call myself a conspiracy theorist because even Charlie said, he was like, the only difference between a conspiracy theory and the fact is you just wait 6 months. So I've been saying that to people, and I'm like, you know what? This is super complicated. Obviously, it's not going to be just 6 months. I'm patient. I will wait for stuff to come out, but they want a speedy trial. They want Tyler Robinson 6 feet under. And I wanted that too. I posted a video like September, I don't know, 13th or something. And I was like, this is my message to all Christians. Tyler Robinson is irredeemable. He should be put to death immediately. That was my thoughts. And then after Erica gave her speech, my thought changed. I was like, okay, not everyone can be redeemed. That was my thought. I was like, I was wrong by saying that. I still think he should get the death penalty, but anyone can be redeemed. Anyone can be saved by Jesus. But now my thought process is like, if we want the truth, Tyler Robinson needs to stay alive. We have not heard a single word come out of his mouth. We have not heard a single word come out of his parents' mouth. The only thing we have from Lance Twiggs is a pre-recorded interview from April, I think it was. And even there's suspicious stuff about that kind of because it doesn't really make sense. But we haven't heard anything. And then you see Brandon Tatum and Graham Allen and even Jack Posobiec come out and go, oh, overwhelming mountain of evidence. He needs to be put to death. This needs to be a speedy trial. I'm like, we saw like we saw what we've basically already had, which was the roof footage. We have no clear visual of his face. We have no statement from the parents or him. So I don't know how you can come to that conclusion saying we want this guy to be put to death.
I know. It's insane.
It's very trippy to me.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up real quick. I wanted to pull up because Mr. Officer Tatum has been in our messages a lot, or in our videos a lot lately, talking a lot of smack. And so
He's the worst.
I wanted to pull this up because, you know, he deserves a little bit of screen time here. And this is, of course, going back to the microphone theory, and he's debunking it here. I mean, he does a really good job debunking it. So let's take a look.
Let me show you what the lapel mic that Charlie Kirk had on his person was. We use the same stuff. It has a magnetic clip on the back. Charlie had it on his shirt, which was here or here. I can't remember if I'm in reverse. But he had it on his shirt right around here. Therefore, if it's on his shirt here and not clipped here, it's held together with a magnet. So that means there's no hard leverage it has. If you are stupid enough to think that this killed Charlie by doing this, it explodes, and the bullet comes around here, it goes right here. How could that be possible? What munition could have came out of this thing? You think it's a 223? Which is standard 223. Allegedly, it was a 30-06, which is massively bigger than this. But let's just say if y'all want to create a conspiracy theory outside of relevant facts and information, that it was a shot like this, which is a 5.56 223. This won't fit in this box here. It's too big.
Oh man,
it's heavy.
It's heavy.
Just like the Zoolander.
I know
Oh
he
my gosh.
I know he regrets that after he posted that.
Oh my god.
Look, this
Man.
is my whole thing about the whole mic theory is I'm not even claiming a projectile came out of it. Possibly, but we don't know if this
Right.
thing stunned Charlie, electrocuted him to get him to the ground in coordination with a projectile. We don't know. But what we do know is when Stu Peters dropped his investigation of accurate energetic systems, I don't know if you guys did a deep dive onto this, but I really did a deep dive into this, and it really tripped me out. So they had a work order, which was a short work order, only a couple months, like compared to other work orders that were years or whatever, for an XS, extra small demolition, personnel device bought by the Department of Defense for $500,000. That the work order was finished like either in, I think, like July or August or something.
Yeah.
So I see all these people going like, oh, my buddy works in munitions, like he did a test with this thing and it couldn't have been that. I'm like, how do you guys know what was in it? How do you guys know it was manufactured? If this was a customized device for an assassination, you don't know what it did. You have no idea. The thing that we do know is that there's no way in hell a 30-06 killed Charlie. It's not possible. The guy who killed Osama bin Laden came out and was like, dude, I've killed people right in front of me. That bullet wouldn't do that. It would blow his head off. I've looked at, like, when I did my research on this, I was looking at former U.S. soldiers. I was looking at ballistics experts. I was looking at gun experts. All these people did it on either a chunk of meat or like the gel test dummy.
Yeah.
And it just blows it up. Blows it up. So it makes no sense, because another thing that's super deceitful is, I think it was the day before the funeral, actually, Andrew Colvette came out with the Superman spine tweet where he said he talked to the surgeon and he was like, oh, it was a miracle that nobody else was killed. Like, Charlie had a spine like Superman, so miraculous. And I said it when I quit in my video, I said that was the beginning of the manipulation of scripture, because I think a lot of us kind of just bought that in our heads, like, oh yeah, Charlie's a miracle, like that's what happened. But if you look at it literally, there's no way that's what it could have been. So I had like a different theory about it and stuff, but with the mic thing, we still don't know what the little black fragments were in the car. I'd like to know that. Like, that's evidence. So like, if that's brought to attention, I want to have like the forensic workup on that. Like, what was that? If it was the mic, that's really concerning because all these people are like, it was not the mic. No way, no way, no way. I'm like, okay.
And also, whenever they're saying it's not something so adamantly, it almost makes it like, okay, we should look into this even more. You know, it's like, all right.
Yeah. I'm not definitive about anything really. Like I'm open-minded to stuff, but yeah, when you're saying it for sure couldn't have been that, I'm like, okay, how do you know? Let's look at. I don't know.
There's no way to say for sure.
Yeah.
Right here, it's like little black fragments are falling out of his shirt. This is his arm right here. And then like there's just like they're like all over the place in the photos. There was little black shards everywhere. And then also going back to the what's that company called, the energy weapons company?
Oh, right. I didn't even finish my thoughts on that. Accurate Energetic Systems in Tennessee. So we get into all that, right? Stu Peters drops his theory saying, I think it was the mic that killed Charlie. Look at his shirt puff up. I don't even know if he was talking about the necklace, but we saw from the behind the camera view that Candace showed, his necklace goes flying off. And Baron Coleman was talking about this. He's like, shoot a dummy in the neck. Necklace doesn't go flying off. Shoot a deer in the neck. Put a necklace on a deer. Doesn't go flying off. Not how it works. So Accurate Energetic Systems, though. I will tell you guys, I love movies, right? I love a story. I love the plot. I love a good act, like all this stuff. When you see a story break and then the building of said story 2 weeks later blows up, 16 people dead, no survivors.
Come on.
Yeah, I forgot
totally
about
normal.
that part.
Totally normal.
That part too.
If you look it up on Twitter, you should be able to find it super quick. Just look up Accurate Energetic Systems.
Yeah.
The drone footage of it before and after, it's gone. It's like erased off the face of the earth. That doesn't just happen.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Totally wasn't even thinking of that. That happened, and somebody DM'd us and said you should try to find some of the families of these people that died in this explosion and see what they have to say about it.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
That's actually a good thought. Yeah, because like, so that's before, and then that's after.
Oh my goodness.
That doesn't just happen.
Look at the wait, hold on. Even the parking lot? What? Even they got rid of the parking lot?
Everything.
It's just
wow.
I've never seen a more obvious, hey, we need to tie up some loose ends.
Man, everything is just so obvious now. They don't even care. They don't even care to like put on a bigger show. They're just like going through the motions, hoping that this all just dies out.
Right.
They're just hoping it dies out.
No, I mean, let's go back to, I want to talk a little bit more about Blake Neff.
Yeah.
So on that live that you were on, it's called Spaces, right? When you're live on X?
Yeah.
Whenever
X
you were on
Spaces.
that Spaces, what was his reason for joining it? Like, why would he even go on?
It was actually it's super weird because I was on a space 2 days ago after the last day of the trial. I was on a different space with some of the same people, and we see him join. And then somebody was like, "Oh, Blake, do you want to come up and speak?" Right when somebody said that, he left. So I honestly, he's literally just creeping around. It's like embarrassing because.
Well, isn't it in the Tyler Robinson case? Didn't somebody come out and say that there was 3 people driving in the car with Tyler Robinson and one of them was bald, and then everybody started saying, was it Blake Neff?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, as a joke, and I'm thinking, was that right before he decided to join this live? I'm thinking like he came to defend himself.
That's what happened. So the night that all of that started coming out, everybody's like, "Oh,
right.
Blake Neff he's bald," and there was 3 people driving with the bald person. The bald person was driving. Literally right after that, he started like defending himself. Not even talking about that, but coming out saying, "I don't remember what I was doing." And he said that he went to the hotel room that night and didn't remember what he was doing the same night that somebody was driving the Charger that was bald. Like, dude, it was a joke at first, but now it's like kind of like 30% positive that was you, dude. You know?
Could have been.
It's just how he was responding to answers. It wasn't like genuine. It was like he was fed up and like not really caring. He was like, it was very just nonchalant. Like we're talking about an assassination and you're claiming it was one of your best friends and you're just being all like, oh, whatever. Like, no, I wasn't. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, why are you not being like transparent with people and like being like, okay, they have a question for me, let me like be honest about it and let me give them an answer that actually helps them understand, because obviously we all went through a super dark day that day.
Right.
He just didn't care. Like even the question, you can pull up the video if you want on my Twitter of him saying that he wasn't a key witness to the murder, but it's just
let's
like,
play that, because and his attitude is just off the charts.
Yeah.
I don't know
it's
what.
bad.
I think I have that.
He has a serious
saved.
attitude problem. You know, because if it's somebody who is a close friend of yours and they have lots of people, like Charlie Kirk has a huge following of people that looked up to him and really lost somebody the day that he was assassinated. As his friend, you know, which Blake is saying that he was, you would think that he would go and try to be like, guys, listen, I loved Charlie. Like, there's no compassion. There's no, like you said, totally disingenuous. Like, there's just nothing coming from him that seems to be truthful.
Yeah. I posted a series of screen recordings from that spaces, probably like 4 or 5 of them, of different statements he made, but I know one of them was that.
I'm just wondering, before I share this real quick, it's just weird that he went on right away to defend himself, right? And is like giving everybody attitude. He doesn't want to be there. So then why are you there? And then also Andrew Colvett the same night, or maybe the next morning, it might have been the same night, right after all of that had happened, like the car situation, who was driving the car, Andrew Colvett goes onto TikTok and like starts saying, I have a lot of questions too. A lot of unanswered questions. So disingenuous and also kind of gay. Like, I don't understand these men, all of these men that have taken over TPUSA. They all have very feminine energy. And then I'm like, because I loved Charlie as well. And so I'm like, I don't remember Charlie like having like a gay-esque energy, you know what I mean? And so I'm like looking at videos, I'm like, he didn't, he wasn't, he was a man. And these people, I don't know, it just really bothers me that there's a lot of gayness like taking over.
While you're pulling that up, I will say all the people, like even people that I've personally talked to that I've known from other chapters and stuff, the only people defending, okay, I'm not gonna say only, the majority of the people defending Erica and Turning Point are low testosterone dudes that weigh 125 pounds. None of these people are like jacked, in good shape, super masculine. Like they're all cucks. Like I'm not trying to be mean, but they're all keyboard warrior cucks. And it's embarrassing because I'll literally click on their profile and it's them in a freedom shirt with like twig arms. And I'm like, and they're like, I defend Erica Kirk. I'm like, bro, go touch grass, go to the gym, read your Bible, do something different because it's not working for you. So that's what I'll say about that.
You'll see people that are defending her that are like jacked or like, you know, like manly. That's gonna be like the Graham Allens that are paid by TPUSA allegedly, you know. So the only real men that are supposedly real men doing it are being paid. So it is a shame.
Yeah, Graham is the worst.
Good job for screen recording it. All right, let's take a look.
And I was somewhere. I actually have no idea where they parked it.
What do you mean you don't know where you were?
I'd never been to Utah before.
So you got off the plane with Charlie, you jumped in the other SUV. Where did you go?
We went somewhere. Why would I?
You went somewhere.
Why would I remember that? Like, can you consider for just one moment that I did not know that Charlie was going to...
Did you go straight to the UVU event?
Around the Orem, Utah area. We went...
Surely you've been asked these questions by the authorities, right?
Why would I be asked the questions like that by the authorities?
Because you're a key witness to a murder.
No, I'm not. I'm 100.
Surely you can... Hang on. Surely you can remember what you did that morning.
I'm a key witness to Charlie's life. I'm not a particularly important witness to the murder.
So you got off the plane, you got in the SUV. Where did you go? Hang on, let me finish the question. Where did you go?
What do you mean, where did I go?
You got off the plane, you got in the SUV.
Did you go to a restaurant? Did you go to the strip club? Where did you go?
We drove somewhere, and because I wasn't going to that event, we just like parked and we marked time until the actual Utah Valley event, and then we
realize you're making yourself look really bad right now by not answering that question. But just go ahead, continue.
Why is that making me look really bad? Like what? Do you want to check?
So when did you meet up? Hang on. Let me finish it. So when did you meet up with Charlie to follow him to UVU?
I don't believe I ever did meet up with Charlie. I think he went to that event.
You followed him in. You followed him into UVU.
But in the event, I believe we drove there, and I was not directly outside that event. So the memory.
Yeah, bad look.
He's the worst. Honestly, Blake Neff is one of the worst of them all. But let's get into Ben Shapiro a little bit. Did you see Ben Shapiro say that his security detail was on the phone with Charlie's security detail in the car?
Yeah. That's I don't understand how that's even in the realm of possibilities. Like, why would that even be a thing?
Right.
It's
there's
very weird.
Definitely a theory of why that would be a thing. That would probably be because, I mean, if Ben Shapiro's talking to Mr. and like, you know, relaying the information to allegedly, then that would make sense that he would be on the phone call with his security, would be on the phone call with Charlie's security to make sure that the job's done.
Yeah, my whole thing is because when they were talking about this, they showed a clip of Ben when the news broke of Charlie dying, and he didn't really seem too distraught. So that was one of the things they brought up. But my whole thing is I don't know, because in my letter that I wrote of me quitting, that I made a video of, I had a list of people who I think had foreknowledge or inside information, no matter how big or small. I had a list of people that have been clowns saying don't ask questions that I don't really think had foreknowledge, though. And then I have a list of people who have been demonized and smeared in the media. I didn't put Ben on the foreknowledge list. I put him on the clown don't ask questions list, because there wasn't really anything that gave me the impression that he did have foreknowledge about it. And if he did, I don't know why he would come out and say that. So my whole thing is he didn't backtrack on it and be like, oh no, I didn't mean like en route to there. I haven't seen him come out with that. He just kind of stood on that statement. So it's very strange, and there keeps just weird stuff keeps coming out about this. But he's just another guy that is trashing Candace and trying to be entertaining about it, and nobody thinks he's entertaining. Like, I can tell you. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's Ben Shapiro's a little bit more sinister than that, because if you look at, I mean, even Candace has said that the Brian Harple's the one that's suing her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His attorney is Ben Shapiro's brother-in-law, and so Ben Shapiro has ties to, first of all, hating Candace. He did not like Charlie at all, and he donated $1 million right after he died. He went on the show immediately, like less than a week after. And then he's sitting here saying, well, pick up the bloody mic. And then he's on stage at a TPUSA event with Megyn Kelly saying that she needs to denounce Candace. It's just he's very, very controlling, I feel like.
I thought you were going to bring up AmFest. He was the opening speaker of AmFest, which tripped me out.
Opening speaker.
So yeah, he was on the Charlie Kirk show with Charlie on September 9th.
Yeah. The day before.
He was talking.
And did you see how pissed he was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they weren't friends.
No, he was so pissed.
Was it that episode or a different episode where Charlie was like, you Jews control the media, Ben? Was it that episode?
It was
that September
episode.
9th? That was September 9th?
Yes.
See, that's even worse.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, there's a lot here. Hold on.
I think Ben Shapiro had foreknowledge.
I think
just
so.
Like off of just
in our opinions, like our total opinions,
entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
I think Ben Shapiro had foreknowledge.
I will say, because if he was some like solid God-fearing dude, I'd be more inclined to say, no, I'm totally against that theory. But I've heard him talk, even on Joe Rogan years ago, he was talking about like, oh, do you believe like Jesus is God? And Ben's like, no, like we don't believe that like at all.
He thinks he was
like,
just a guy.
He thinks he's burning an excrement.
He believes in and all that trash. So, and I'm not Catholic, and I'm actually against a lot of the stuff in the Catholic religion, but he just trashes Christianity and Jesus in general. Because I know Candace is Catholic and a lot of people are Catholic, but he just like, I mean, he follows, we know what.
Taxpayer dollars are going to subsidize pedophile rings. Would you say it's a good idea to use military force to strike potential Iranian nuclear targets? My whole life, I've been told that Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a nuclear bomb. Yet here in 2025, they do not have a nuclear bomb. We push back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. So like, maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question. You know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years.
One of my great.
Wow, that's powerful.
Wait, pull that up real quick. Let Ben say what he's gonna say, and look what
Okay.
the clip of Charlie they put after that.
Irritations is when people use the third person plural without specifying who they're talking about. Say they.
They were wrong about Iraq. They were wrong about Syria. They were wrong about Afghanistan. They were wrong about the Taliban. They were wrong about Libya. They were wrong about the Arab Spring. They were wrong about Yemen. They were wrong about the Arabian Peninsula. They were wrong about the 9/11 hijackers being Saudi Arabian. But hey, 10 times a charm. This time we're actually right. Yeah, you're gonna have to earn our trust on this one.
Man.
So it is the same outfit. So that is the last interview
That's
that
trippy.
Charlie
looking back at
did.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
on his show. Yeah.
The last interview that he did, well, the day before, right? It was one of the last that he did the day before. So that's crazy. Ben Shapiro's not looking very, he's looking very suspicious. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Per
and
usual.
I wanted to touch on something, unless you guys have another topic, but I had a question
go
because
ahead.
I know I saw either a video or a couple of videos of you guys talking about him, but not the one thing, there's a lot, but one of the main things that trips me out about September 10th is Mikey McCoy. It really it makes me angry almost, because he's never come out and spoken out against this, to my knowledge. He just hasn't. He's never been like, no, this is why I did this. This is why I walked that way. If you are standing 5 feet away from your supposed best friend, one of your best friends, and he gets shot in the face right in front of you, how are you going to turn around and calmly walk away without looking back a single time? Let's take away the fact that he was on the phone and all the other theories about that. Just what he did. How do you calmly walk away while people are screaming bloody hell running around during an active shooting? And you're just calmly walking away. Doesn't look back, like wasn't like scrambling on his phone, like, dude, what the hell? Like, you gotta check out stuff, run away. Nope. It was literally walk away.
Yep.
It honestly makes me sick. And I will say this, because when I was at AmFest, I was in a private members only meeting it was Greg Laurie, Blake, and Mikey McCoy all talking on a panel. There were probably only 50 people in that room. And I said this in my video when I quit. I said, if I had the thought process that I have now, I straight up would have interrupted that whole thing and said, Mikey, why did you do that? Like, what the hell was that? But this is back in December, so I was still for Erica a lot of the stuff. But that was the only opportunity I really had to say anything. But I mean, I've called him out on social media. I called him out in that video. I've never seen him respond to a single thing.
He's not going to. He's guilty. The only way you can walk away calmly when you see your best friend get shot in the face or the neck is if you knew it was going to happen. That's how he was able to walk away so calmly. That's in my opinion. He knew that it was going to happen. And that's like kind of the only answer to that. Because anybody that cares about anybody, even just a stranger getting shot, you would at least fall to the ground and try to protect yourself. His reaction was completely telling. And that's kind of like all we need is these reactions and looking back at them.
Yeah. And also with Mikey McCoy, his wife's, I just find this so interesting because I feel like Erica Kirk anybody surrounding her at all has so many ties to orphanages or saving children in other countries, but specifically around or in Romania. And so Mikey McCoy's wife, her father and her grandfather own a company. It's called Good Call Ministries, I believe. And it is based out of the Eastern Europe, and it works with children. And so it's just interesting that Mikey McCoy's wife, her parents have this huge company that also does the same thing. And we did look into it a little bit with Good Call Ministries, and you can't find much, but if you look it up on Google and look like if there's been any complaints to the company, there is complaints with their tax. What are they
like tax filing? What they do with their money?
They're not upfront with their tax filing, and the money that they get from 100% is donors. So, and it tells you to beware of that because they're not letting you know what they're doing with their money. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's like bad company surrounds itself. You become
Yeah.
like the 5 or 7 people you surround yourself with the most.
Yeah.
And all these people, Victor Marks being somebody that Erica Kirk can rely on for advice or whatever he is to her. He's a terrible guy too.
He blocked me on Instagram.
Who did?
That
Victor
guy.
Marks.
Oh,
seriously.
I made one post about him and posted it on my story and tagged him in it. One post, within like an hour, he blocked me.
really?
Oh yeah.
Did you see that he won? Not the whole race yet because it's in November, but he won to where he's staying in the fight.
Serious?
Yeah, I
Oh
saw
my
that
God.
on the news while I was
In
editing
Colorado?
yesterday. Yeah, I was like, no. He's gonna win though because he's so pro. And so, I mean, they're just gonna put anybody in like that.
His whole family history honestly sketches me out. Like the murder and the death surrounding that.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
weird.
So weird.
And he's like, why do I have to tell you how many people I've killed? Does it matter? And it's
Dude,
like,
he got destroyed by Candace in that thing.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
He couldn't answer a question. It was the story of him beheading a cat or whatever.
yeah.
I literally timed it for 14 minutes. He couldn't answer that question. Yes or
Yeah.
no question.
And also his anger, like his anger was shining through. You can tell he's a very disturbed man and how angry he was getting.
Full of demons.
Yeah, full of demons, and he's sitting here trying to retool people. It's like, bro, you
Yeah.
need to retool yourself.
He
and
got
get outta here.
he got into a conversation with a very righteous woman, and you could see it because the demons started coming out in him, and he just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Candace
Well,
Owens owned that.
The picture of him holding Erica, it's like so performative, dude. That picture too. I don't know. Oh wait. No, is it still up or did he delete it? I can't remember if he blocked me or
find it.
not.
Where he's holding her, and it's like one of the first
Bringing
pictures.
his princess home.
Yes.
He put like Instagram audio on it.
Mm,
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like her face is a little like,
there it is.
yeah, here it is.
Is it still
She-
up?
I found it on X. Let's see.
Oh, on X. Yeah, bringing.
Oh
the
yeah,
Princess
he has
Warrior
this
home.
song, Twillia
Dude.
Paris playing.
Dude.
The Warrior is a child. So that, yeah, he went in there and like found. songs
Here's
to
my
put on
thing.
there. Ugh.
It's very easy to get lost in social media and be like, oh, that's not suspicious. You have to remember what social media is. It's somebody photographing something in real life. When your husband got assassinated that day, why are you taking a picture of somebody holding you with a tissue? Why are you having Stacey Sheridan allegedly pan over your husband's dead body while you're crying, go down to his hands, kiss his hands, say, oh, I love you. And Baron Coleman brought this up the other day. Shout out to the GOAT Baron, because he worked in radio a bunch. He was saying, dude, she was mic'd up during that. Because you
Yeah.
can hear the little whisper and little softness of
She's
it, and
like-
even like rubbing against her shirt.
Yep.
Yes, you would not be
He
able to
was
hear that from
100%
that
right.
distance.
Oh my
Mm-mm.
goodness.
You wouldn't. And also, what was weird, how she has the cross that I don't think it's his necklace because his neck they couldn't like find the necklace. There's so much going on with the necklace, but she holds like a necklace out of the
Yeah.
car as she's
Yep.
driving by, and you see Stacey Sheridan right behind her. It's like so much.
She's everywhere.
sketch.
She's everywhere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she is. Did
She
you
was-
see her?
Yeah.
At the
okay.
trial?
So yes, I saw her at the trial. She behind the car when she was talking about when Charlie was getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom, when it was the first time we saw Charlie's parents. Erica wasn't standing next to her parents crying. She was standing next to Stacey Sheridan. Why is this chick everywhere? So she's in charge of what? The donors or whatever? Or
Yeah.
like how?
She does the all the money stuff, bringing in all the donors, all the everything.
Which is like, that's not somebody that would be super close to you. First of all, she's for the company, and she's sitting here like handling Erica, you know?
I think they're both terrible together.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think she's handling Erica. I think that they're kind of handling TPUSA.
Yeah. And Baron was talking about her the first day of court because he was like, did you just get back from the strip club? Like, why are
Right,
you?
right.
Yeah.
I was
What
like, holy
was
crap,
that?
Baron's just
Messy.
going crazy. But
I mean, with how they showed up at the courthouse and Charlie's dad, how he kind of shrugged off her
Yeah.
handshake a little bit, and then Charlie's mom didn't even make eye contact, it looked like in the pictures. And we don't really see Charlie's parents, or we don't see his children, which I get it for protective reasons. But it's kind of interesting that they haven't come out and really said anything. And so my sister and I, we're wondering if it has to do something with like a blackmail for their grandkids. They're like, you guys can't say anything because of the grandkids. So that's something only time will tell when the kids grow up and speak out on their own, or Charlie's sister comes out. 10 years from now, there's going to be even more information coming out from people that are being silenced.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, 100%.
This is the one thing that tripped me out, because people were asking where Erica was on September 8th and 9th. And this was the alibi she sent to Andrew Colvette. And Andrew was like, oh, here's proof she was with her kids.
Mhm.
So if you want to just look at each of those. So that's Andrew Colvette's text messages to, I forget who it was. It was like some YouTube team, and Andrew's a dumbass because he didn't know they were live streaming. So that's the only reason we have this.
This was to Paramount Tactical that this was
Okay,
supposedly
yeah.
sent to.
Yes. That guy, Gary or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then if you go scroll to the next one. So this is on my story. So at the time, Charlie's son was less than 2 years old, because I think his birthday was in like March or something. I don't know. But this is September. This is September 2025. His son was less than a year and a half old.
Yeah.
Does that look like a year and a half old boy to you?
No.
At all. It looks like an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's bigger than the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have we have 2 sons each. Mine's almost 2, and my baby is nowhere near that size.
Yeah. And then if you go to the next one, because I pointed this out, does that look
wow.
like AI? Look at the fingers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally AI.
Because AI has a really hard time with hands and fingers.
Yes.
That's one thing that AI is still working on making look real, and that would make sense that the hands would be weird. But why wouldn't they make it look like a younger child? Everything about it's messed up. Like,
basically, it
they
was
just
2 weeks before he
that could have
died.
been anybody's
I'll
finger.
never
Like, it's all just. It's at this point, it's almost like, can you show us something that is real? Because
Right.
every single thing is fake
Right.
or
Yeah.
misguided.
Yeah, and my whole thing is like, people can say, oh, Fort Huachuca, all this stuff. My whole thing is take it out of there. Take the theories out.
Yeah.
Why did she lie? Why'd she lie?
Right.
Why'd
Right.
she lie about where she was?
Mm-hmm.
That's all
Right.
you need.
Yep. One lie, even just one lie, because one lie makes you a liar. And then from that point forward, I'm not going to believe anything else you say because you already lied.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and
honestly, I'm not God, so I don't have to forgive you, and I don't have to like accept your apology. Like, I can think you're a liar once you lie.
Like, okay, if this was real life, like if they were real people, because they're not. They're obviously very sadistic, weird individuals who are guilty of something, right? Don't know what it is, but they're obviously guilty. But say they were like real people and you're this famous and this huge thing just happened, and say she lied, right? And she's like, because everybody was accusing me of like being at Fort Huachuca, it freaked me out. I'm like, here's my kids, and like I just lied. It just made me uncomfortable and I just messed up. I'm sorry, guys. That's like the type of thing that you would come out and say if you're a real person.
Yeah.
But they're not. And so what they do, they keep digging themselves through more and more and more lies, keep putting more and more money into it to see if it can go away, to get more people, more bots to come attack people and make you think that nobody agrees with you. And it's just like, it's all such bull crap. It is. It's horrible.
Yeah,
What we're living through.
Yeah, it's all just suspicious, because even the speaking event that she was supposed to do with JD Vance, that they said, oh, there was death threat, security threat, so she can't come in, and then Andrew Colvette filled in for her. People were saying she was there backstage
I've heard
because
that.
her flight logs or whatever said she landed or whatever. So, and my whole thing is, I posted a video about it. I was like, so let me get this straight. The Vice President of the United States is there in front of a crowd, but Erica can't come in because of a security threat.
Right.
Pretty sure it's secure if the Vice President is there.
Yeah.
Like the
So
highest security ever.
Yeah, I think it was a cop out to not speak at that, because this is my thing. I actually got in touch with somebody who asked a question at, it was Benny Johnson and Tom Homan's event, and he was such a legend because he was talking about Israel and asking about the involvement and stuff. And the only reason he was able to ask a question is because Benny was like, okay, let's get one more, let's get one more. And the people that were kind of ushering the line, like turning point people, were trying not to let him get in to ask a question. So with that in mind, how they coordinate these events and do this stuff, I'm telling you right now, there is no way ever Erica will be speaking at an event where they have an open mic for people to ask questions. It will either be pre-written questions, or they're going to flame you and be like, what's your question? You need to tell me right now. You're not going to answer, or you're not going to ask it.
Mhm.
Because if there was just an open mic, she'd get destroyed. She'd get
Yeah.
destroyed.
Mhm.
And we already saw like her go to, I think it was ASU, and somebody asked her about the war in Iran, and she was like, I wish my husband was here. Like, I don't know what he would say. I love him so much. I wish he was here. And we're all sitting there like, Charlie literally was outspoken about the war in Iran. We know
Super
exactly.
outspoken. And you know that he
Yeah.
talked to her about it too, or she was around. And you know what keeps bugging me is that supposedly Tucker Carlson, Erica Kirk, and Charlie had a dinner before, not long before he died.
Yeah.
And Tucker told Candace that she was more anti than he was. And so it's like she's sitting here egging him on, trying to lead him towards that direction even more. And then after he dies, she goes the like hard 180. It just doesn't make any sense.
Nothing does.
Yeah, and I will say this, because at the end of the day, we can all have our theories and all like either argue or debate all this stuff. At the end of the day, it's just sad. It's just sad.
Yeah.
He died doing what he loved, and at the end of the day, I think he was deceived and manipulated, because this really opened my eyes, because I thought this before, but it really confirmed in my brain after Candace went on, I think it was Sean Ryan. She was saying Charlie wanted more than anything to have a God-fearing wife and to have children. That's what he wanted. Like she was talking about the girl that he was like obsessed with and didn't get to date, and how he was heartbroken and stuff. And she was saying how much he wanted to be just romantically in love with somebody.
Yeah.
And like, I don't say this lightly. I did all my research. I defended her in the midst of death threats. But I really do think that Erica threw herself at him and was portraying herself as the very thing that he wanted. And I said this from the beginning of me speaking out about this. Charlie wasn't Jesus. He wasn't perfect. He made mistakes, and he was capable of being deceived. And I also said this in the Bible. One of the main things that brought down kings and brought down literal empires was lust and women deceiving people. So this isn't like some little random thing. It's a very powerful thing if you let somebody into your life and you're genuinely deceived. So Candace was even saying like, oh, she was significantly older than Charlie. So I was kind of surprised when I first met her that she was into him, because Charlie was this younger 24-year-old guy, or however old he was.
Right.
So it's all very weird. And even if you look back at the videos of her on his podcast about her not remembering their wedding date, of even speaking panels, I looked back at a lot of this stuff, guys.
Yeah.
He would be talking about something, and then he'd let her talk, and she's just like not
Checked
talking about good stuff, and he's just kind of sitting there like, okay, like not
yeah.
building on to it. He's just letting her do her thing.
Yeah.
So there's so many things we can go on and on, but at the end of the day, if you look at women like Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's widow, she came out, gave that speech. If you look at Irina Zaruska's mom, whether it was her statement or her at the State of Union address, these are grieving widows. And like I said before, I love movies. I know good acts from bad acts. I know good actresses and bad actresses. Erica Kirk is not like she's kind of suspicious. No, she's a bad actress.
Yeah.
She is so performative, and that's what made me sick, because it's the stuff that you're manipulating about scripture on top of you being disingenuous. I'll stop right there. Sorry, I'm kind of going on,
No,
but it's just a lot, and it's very
I'm so
deceptive.
glad we're all calling it out, and then we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop calling it out. We're not going to stop talking about it. We're not going to get bored of it. It's not for clickbait. It's literally generational directions that we're moving into. We need to make sure that we keep reproving this evil, reproving the lies. You know, Erica Kirk is not what she's trying to make everybody believe that she is. And we all see right through it, and they know it. For the ending question, I want to ask you, because we know you're Christian, right?
Yes.
Where do you look in the Bible? And this is for other young men or people that are coming to faith, or maybe need a little bit of drive, maybe a little fire under them to give them purpose. Like, what gospel do you go to in the Bible when you need to feel purposeful? Or where did you start in the Bible to feel that purpose that men are supposed to have?
Yeah, my personal favorites are Psalms, written by King David, and then Romans, written by Paul, because I think I can relate to David a lot, because he was this younger, super strong dude that was like a leader who became a king and stuff. But at the end of the day, he fell into lust and he had a lot of mistakes that he made, like with Bathsheba and stuff. So it gives you really good perspective because it's like you can be on top of the world and you can be doing so many things right, and then you can fall into stuff that like ruins you. So the beautiful thing about it, though, is because in the Bible it says he was a man after God's own heart, and that's after all the trash that he did and went through. But if you repent and keep pushing on, then you're able to be redeemed and actually live a godly life, because it doesn't matter what you did, it matters who you are at the end of the day. And then with Romans is really good because obviously Paul was like persecuted and he was writing a lot of this stuff from prison. But I think it gives you a lot of good life lessons, because I think Psalms is more of like in the moment, talking about like your emotions and feelings and like how to navigate through stuff. But Romans is more of like it gives you good perspective on life, because it's a dark world that we live in, and it's crazy how the Bible can speak to people over 2,000 years later, and it's so relevant, especially with even all like LGBTQ stuff or even political stuff. Like it says, be bold. It says, even about your faith, if you don't confess yourself before men, then you won't see Jesus in heaven, because if you're not going to be bold about what you talk about on earth, you can't be like, oh, I believe this. When you get to heaven, it's like, okay, dude, where are the fruits that you provided from that belief? So those are two things I would say. Like Psalms is great, Romans is great, and obviously the Gospels are great, seeing Jesus's life, how he handled stuff. But I guess I would just say, like, in the midst of all the craziness, don't let politics become your life. Don't let just this specific case, don't let it take over your life, because it gets depressing. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about one of the most darkest days in American history and the most gruesome assassination in history, because we saw it on TV. Like, we've never seen something like that other than like JFK. So yeah, I would just say keep believing in Jesus, and make sure your actions reflect what you believe in, because I feel like we see, even people we've talked about today, so many people quote scripture and say things, but then their actions are like trashing people or manipulating it. So act out what you believe, because if you don't act it out, it's completely worthless. It doesn't matter how many Bible verses you quote, doesn't matter how much you go to church. If your life and your actions don't reflect what you believe, it's completely worthless. So you just got to keep fighting the good fight and exposing evil and fighting for truth, because if people are saying don't fight for truth and stop asking questions, it's like Charlie said. He said one of the best things you can do is just relentlessly fight for the truth.
Well said. Amen to that.
All right. Well, Mason, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us and having a very important conversation. We definitely got to do it again. More and more stuff's just going to keep coming out. So there will always be something to talk about. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there
We loved having you on. Is there anything else you want to say right before we head out?
Yeah, we'll definitely get into. I'll keep in touch with you guys, and we can do some other stuff, because I do want to get into like even like tarot farms within the SD cards and stuff, and just even stuff like Butler. Maybe we can get into it. But I appreciate the time, guys, and love your guys' stuff. So we'll keep speaking truth when we can, and just doing the right thing to the best of our ability.
Right.
Love it.
Thank you, Mason.
All right, Mason, have a blessed day.
You too. Have a good one.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you like the conversation we had today with Mason, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. We'll also leave Mason's channel in the link description below.
Yes, and make sure to check us out on Spreaker or Patreon to get our uncut, uncensored, unredacted full videos with exclusive content coming soon for members.
Till next time.